Hello, and we're off again, and I've literally just done now 2. I'm going to crack straight on with now 3, because I've got it here, and we're good to go. Here we go, now 3. This one came out in the middle of 1984, and on now 103, they actually feature a flashback, 35th anniversary, now 3, and it features 4 songs from it. Interesting the 4 they've picked. As always with these, what we're looking at is which of these songs still sound good, which ones are worth listening to, which ones sound shit now. Obviously, it's subjective. Please do feel free to have your opinion. I'm just giving you mine. And in the process, we're sort of going through musical history. I'd love to go through every single Now album, and the more I think about it, the more I will. I wasn't planning on it, but we'll certainly crack on for now, and I'll do some odd individual songs as well. I really want to cover all periods of musical history, and at the moment I've only done 60s, 70s and 80s because I want to set the background, but I want to bring this bang up to date and ultimately do some new single reviews and stuff. And any recommendations, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, give us some ideas and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, we're on Now 3, all the records just come out. It's nice to have these on vinyl. I've digitised them as well, and of course they're on YouTube, but it's nice to actually have the records. Right, as you can hear, if you know what this is, it's Duran Duran, The Reflex. They've been on every Now album to date. This song was a huge hit, it was number 1. It's a good song. It's very kind of laddish in their own way. It's I don't really know what it's about. You get the impression it might be about drugs or coke or something, but it's not totally clear. Sonically, it's big stadium dance rock, produced by Ian Little, who produced an album for one of my favourite bands, Sparks. Number 2, Nick Kershaw. He was on the last Now with Wouldn't It Be Good, and he's back with I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Now this song was actually originally released the year before, but it didn't really do a lot. It was re-released and it went top 10, and it's a good song. Like a lot of Nick Kershaw's stuff, there's kind of a formula there of rather monotonic verses followed by a really big catchy chorus and strange lyrics. I don't really know what they're about. Sister Sledge, Thinking of You, great music reviewer, aren't I? Oh, I don't really know what the lyrics were about. What do you think? Nick Kershaw, I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. What do you think that's about then? Sister Sledge, Thinking of You, is pretty obvious what that one's about. It's a great all-time classic, kind of post-disco, Nile Rodgers sound. Slightly less obviously dancey than a lot of their stuff, a bit more semi-ballady. Now, I reckon this was recorded in 79, so it must have been re-released in 84. It was certainly the first time it was out as a single, but it wasn't recorded in 84. Number 4, OMD, Locomotion. Not one of their most famous songs, but it's a good tight song. Great production on it, very crisp. It's also got steel drums on it, which was quite strange for a band like OMD, regarded as being so all electronic. Number 5, similar band, Ultravox, Dancing with Tears in My Eyes, which is a pretty decent song, bit pompous, a bit sort of being very majestic and stuff. Get the impression it's about nuclear war or apocalypse or something. Howard Jones again, Pearl in the Shell. Not one of his best songs. It's a bit frenzied, a bit too fast, but it's good. It's okay. Blancmange, another synth pop band. Don't Tell Me, great song actually. Really, really good song. Really, really inventive. Really off the wall. Got a kind of Asian feel to it. A lot of their stuff had these sort of Asian rhythms. You obviously maybe know Living on the Ceiling. That's probably one of their most famous. Don't Tell Me. The singers always sounds a bit mental in it, a bit frenzied, but whereas Pearl in the Shell is annoyingly fast, Don't Tell Me, it's more bouncy, really springy song. It sounds like it's done on a trampoline. Followed by Phil Collins, Against All Odds, Don't Take a Look at Me Now. Well, you know, it's an immaculately crafted ballad. It's it's well done. It's that American Psycho thing again with Phil Collins. This is very hard to sort of take it at, if you excuse the expression, face value, which was his album. Okay, we come on to side 2, which is one of the best sides of any Now album of ever, really. There's no weakest link on this side. Every single song is a timeless classic. It's quite literally, it's amazing. It kicks off with Frankie again. After Relax, they're back this time with Two Tribes, a song that was #1 for a good 9 weeks, I think. Dominated. It wasn't banned, but it was still kind of risque, particularly for video. Trevor Horn again, Holly Johnson on vocals. You can hear a bit more of a band in this one. There's more guitars and more what feels like real drumming. Great song. I'm going to play little snippets of all of these because they're all so good. Next up, a song that I bought the single of when I was 10, and a song that's had an immense impression on me. One of the best songs ever, and it is Grandmaster Flash and White Lines. And this is really the first proper hip hop song, I suppose. I'm not counting Rocksteady Crew on Now 3. Anti-coke song again, so if you think the Reflex might be about coke, and this one as well, does make it seem maybe that at this time there was a lot of awareness of the issues of coke going on. This is just after the film Scarface, which captures up a lot of that aesthetic and that time. Wait for it. Obviously, The Message had come out a few years before, and that too was really groundbreaking, in some ways even more groundbreaking than this. Just a classic song, really. I don't really want to cut it short, but check it out. White Lines, Grandmaster and Melle. Another great song after that. And these are really important songs. That's, so far we've had a song, Two Tribes, which is all about the Cold War and all about America and Russia. We've had White Lines, which is obviously all about drug problems, drug abuse. And now, we've got another political song. We've got Special AKA, as opposed to just the Specials, and Free Nelson Mandela. I didn't know who Nelson Mandela was at the age of 9 when this came out, but this song told me. And obviously he was freed a few years later. Now, obviously the Specials, bit before my time, the Special AKA was a kind of spin-off of them. I think it was Jerry Dammers, not Terry Hall, basically. Yeah, it was written by Jerry Dammers. So the voice of the Specials, Terry Hall, wasn't on this. He'd gone off and done Fun Boy 3. It's one of those songs that, I've said this before, happy music, jaunty party music with dark, serious lyrics with real substance. That to me is what makes 80s music so great. And this is one of the best songs of the 80s. Absolutely classic. Followed by another one, which is, I won't play it because it's not as important really sonically, culturally, but it's still a really good song. Womack and Womack, Love Wars, kind of fairly sparse, hard funk really, about domestic abuse. So fuck me, on this side already we've only had 4 songs in, and we've had nuclear war, hard drugs, political apartheid, and domestic abuse. Certainly music with depth, that has to be said. Followed up by Style Council, You're the Best Thing. Okay, a bit more of a love song, but obviously Paul Weller was one of the most politically engaged figures throughout the 80s. Style Council followed on from The Jam, and a lot of the more kind of punky fans of The Jam maybe found Style Council stuff a bit too non-punk. It was much more soul, almost acid jazz really, 10 years before acid jazz. Another all-time classic coming up. Now this came out 3 years after Bob Marley died. It was actually released as a single because the Legend compilation, which I've still got on vinyl somewhere, and there was a great video of it. It was One Love, They did a new video with loads of celebrities sort of singing along to it. Most notably George and Mildred. What can I say about this song? It was a big hit. First I ever heard of Bob Marley. Just classic, really, isn't it? What a side. And then finally, on this side, we have another song that I think you'd say is a classic. Certainly, you look at Social Attitudes. This was Bronski Beat and Small Town Boy. I think people see the importance of this song a lot more nowadays than maybe at the time. Although even at the time, it was pretty outspoken. I think Jimmy Somerville ended up becoming a bit of a self-parody. Too many covers, too many disco songs. But again, this one had depth to the lyrics. That takes us to the end of side 2 then. And what a side. Now we kick off side 3 with another song, which is brilliant. Queen, I Want to Break Free. Great video. Followed by Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time, which a lot of people love. Find it a bit dull personally. And then Alison Moyet, Love Resurrection, ditto. She had obviously left Yazoo by this point. Love Resurrection's okay. It's a not bad song. It's not brilliant. Bluebells, Young at Heart. Another very jaunty song that was originally... it was originally a cover actually. It was a song by Bananarama of all people. And it's a song about divorce and about people who marry too young, but set to a ridiculously jaunty backing. Loads of fiddles and stuff. And it was re-released about 10 years later after a car advert, I think, or an advert. It made number 1 again. That's followed up by Bananarama. We were just talking about them. Some really good... whoever did the scheduling and the ordering of these songs did a really good job. The running order's really good. We got Bananarama themselves, Robert De Niro's Waiting, which was one of their better songs. Really good, quite epic song. Now, talking of epic songs, this wasn't a very big hit, but it's a really good song. This is 21 on here. It's Propaganda and Dr. Mabuse. Another Trevor Horn production. But it's brilliant. It's really epic mix of electronica, kind of big classical music. It's Dr. Mabuse, all about the devil, selling your soul. It's a really, really good song, actually. It packs an awful lot in. It's about 3.5 minutes. Following this one up with Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? Even Tina herself didn't like that, apparently, when she was first given it. Was very reluctant to do it, but it was a huge hit. I don't really like it. It's okay. And then the Flying Pickets again, When You're Young and in Love. Not as well known as Only You, but passable a cappella song. Right, side 4. Here's where things get a bit funny. We start with Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. We've all heard it a million times. Do we need to hear it again? I suppose you could say it does have cultural impact, in that it's still obviously well known. It's just cheesy, isn't it? The Thompson Twins, You Take Me Up. Yeah, that's really good. That might be worth a play. The Thompson Twins were branching out at this point, and this song had things like harmonicas on it. It's almost quite bluesy, but it's got a good loping rhythm to it. I think he's from Batley or somewhere, or Halifax, Tom Bailey, and he's now doing kind of post-dub or side dub, so he's still going. Yeah, I like the groove of this. Good sounds. It's good. This is followed up by Weather Girls, It's Raining Men, another kitsch classic. It's just so outrageous. You really can't criticise it unless you've got no sense of humour at all. Now, interestingly, I think this next song was missing from the CD. 27 on the vinyl is Gary Glitter and Dance Me Up. Gordon Bennett. I wonder why they got rid of that. It's a strange song. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I always liked it. Certainly before anything came out about Gary Glitter, I would have said it was a great song. But knowing what we now know and re-listening to it, I'm still going to say I like the production and I like the sound of it. But the lyrics bring on the good for nothing but loving girls. It's really, really misogynistic, really. And it's really predatory. I don't even want to get the lyrics up because I don't want to Google them. But it's all about like bringing fans onto the show. It's basically about him performing and the girls dancing, and you know, as a song that could just be a bit of fun. But knowing what we know about Gary Glitter, knowing actually he's taken these lyrics are almost a whitewashing of what he was really doing. That actually makes it really. It's a hard one to listen to. I will still listen to it, but I feel a bit. I won't turn it up very loud. I don't want people to know. And I'm well aware of the awfulness of it, really. So I can see why they got rid of it. Following that one up with a weird one, The Art Company, Susanna. Very strange song. It's a live recording, and it's the audience that makes it what it is, because the audience are going crazy. They're really, really going fucking mental for this song I've never heard of by an artist. So I guess it must have been a home gig or something. And it's a strange story song about this guy's doomed attempts to pull this girl called Susanna. And the crowd are getting really involved. And it's got an accordion solo. So, you know. Right, Madness again. Yet again. They've 3 out of 3 of these albums. One Better Day. Not one of their best songs, but it's a really good song. It's a bit subdued for them, and it takes a long time to really build. But it's good, and it's got a good atmosphere, good lyrics. Finally, a very weak song by David Sylvian, who is in Japan. And the song's called Red Guitar, and it's really, really laborious. It just sounds like he's asleep. It's foggy, and it's just kind of dull and dreary. Really not a good song. You might like it. Let me know what you think. So there we go, now 3. I think they've really, really got their act together with how they were putting these together now. There's only one song on here which really hasn't stood the test of time. Not so much musically, but culturally, and that's Gary Glitter. In terms of things that really have stood the test of time and still resonant, everything on side 2 really. 2 Tribes, White Lines, Nelson Mandela, certainly One Love, Small Town Boy. So really, side 2, everything on there. You just play that. Wham was cheesy then and it's cheesy now. Weather Girls, ridiculous then, ridiculous now. In a good way. Looking through it, this is probably the best one yet, to be honest. It's a really, really good, strong selection of songs. Wham and Gary Glitter aside. So maybe side 4 you could do a bit of editing on, but the rest of it's pretty faultless. Enjoy. Thank you very much indeed.